In each unit, we will present a powerful metaphor to help you understand each of 5 guiding principles. In this video, we're going to share our very first. So, we have established that learning language in a classroom doesn't often work. And to be honest, even learning in an immersive environment, think of Guan, can fail as well. So what does work? What is the secret sauce that might lead you to understand how languages are actually learned? Let's take a brief look at history to find out. In the 1970s, a revolution occurred in language learning because of a non-revolutionary thought. The thought was not revolutionary because it was so obvious, but it became revolutionary because almost no one was doing it. Want to know the thought? Communication is the primary purpose of language. Well, yeah, duh. Of course communication is the reason for teaching a language. You learn a language to communicate with others. That's so obvious. Well, it is today. But consider that teachers in either a classical or behaviorist tradition measured student progress based on grammatical perfection, test scores, memorized language, or reading comprehension. Thus, a typical teacher's approach to language instruction had little to do with the student's functional ability. For whatever reason, it didn't occur to the French teacher in the US, for example, to find out how well students might speak French in France with French speakers, just so long as those same students passed the teacher's French test. As H. Douglas Brown put it, students entered a classroom, sat down dutifully in their desks, and waited for the teacher to tell them what to do. Those directives might have been to translate a passage, to memorize a rule, or to repeat a dialogue. Then, the profession seemed to discover the value of learner autonomy in the form of allowing learners to do things like initiate oral production, solve problems in small groups, practice language forms in pairs, and practice using the language outside of the classroom. In the newer model, researchers decided to look beyond test scores and attempted to measure communicative competence, which Cannell and Swain, Himes, and others helped to define as linguistic and social ability. With this shift in thinking, researchers no longer focused on vocabulary, reading, or grammar tests alone. Researchers now wanted to know if you could use the language outside the classroom, and wanted the classroom itself to become a place that mimicked the outside world, with group and pair work, role play, and tasks linked to real-world activities.
Do you know what this means?
This means that learners can be explorers, investigators, and experimenters of language. In fact, not only can they think of themselves as explorers, but they most definitely should. Language isn't learned in a classroom, although a classroom might help if it uses proper techniques. Language is learned by recognizing a very basic truth. Learners must see the world, and not the classroom, as their language laboratory. Does that make you both nervous and excited? Good. It should create some emotions in you, because those emotions are actually what helps your brain. We'll talk about the relationship of emotions and your brain in the next few videos, as we learn what neuroscientists and language learning experts have to say about how someone might actually learn a language. Ready to explore? Good. Grab your hat and jacket and come join me. Should we say each unit? Each module?
What do we assign?
I don't know. Okay.
So we're recording. This is video 3. Video 3.
Okay, here we go. Chirping? That's not my phone. In the newer model, researchers decided to look beyond test scores and attempted to measure communicative. In the newer model,